From one check-in to another, we're going to check in on the World Cup. We had that episode that was lost in the archives, unfortunately, with the friend of the program, Sam Crane.
Happens, man.
So we're going to try and use some of his insight and knowledge and update the crowd.
Yeah.
Update the listeners on where the World Cup is sitting. If you're listening to this, we are recording on Wednesday. Yesterday, the United States beat Iran. It is pronounced Iran. A Iranian reporter. Very.
Bro, disrespectfully.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Disrespectfully.
Do you know the video that I'm talking about?
I definitely know the video where he's
Tyler Adams
accosting him and is like, first of all, you're mispronouncing my country.
Yeah.
Second of all, how do you feel being out here when the U.S. is committing crimes against their own citizens? Some shit like that.
Yeah.
I would have told him to shut the fuck up and then pronounce his country wrong again.
For real.
Because fuck him. That's ridiculous. Why is he even allowed to have press credentials? Because that was absolutely just disrespectful. Like, how do you expect someone who is an African-American person in general to be, held accountable for everything that their country does, bro? He's on the biggest stage playing for, his country or whatever. Would you ask the same question of the Iranian players and shit, like, who are now standing up against their government and being threatened and bullshit? Like, come on, man. Get that reporter out of there. That shit pissed me off. But
see, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see like a U.S. reporter pull the same shit with
it wouldn't have gone
Iranian.
over, though. It wouldn't have gone over here. That's what I'm saying.
No, because they wouldn't have taken it so well.
Yeah.
Like, they would have been like, that is incredibly disrespectful. How dare you ask me that question? But no, Tyler Adams gave a very, very polished and professional response to that question. But I agree. Get that reporter out of here.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
bad faith.
Tyler Adams persevered.
Let's go.
And helped the U.S. advance to the round of 16. We play the Netherlands, also called Holland. And I think there's another one. There's another one that starts with a D that they go by. They've got like 3 or 4 different names. The Netherlands can't decide.
I mean, people are like, those are the Dutch people.
The Dutch, yes. The Dutch, the Netherlands, and Holland.
Yeah.
They got too many names to choose from.
Shout out Max Verstappen.
We play
Shout out, what's his name? Martin Garrix.
Country.
Shout out Martin Garrix.
Is he?
Yeah.
Shout out Swedish House Mafia.
Let's go. There you go. Wait, they're Dutch?
No, Swedish House Mafia isn't. I thought Martin Garrix was in Swedish House Mafia.
No, Martin Garrix. Bro.
Sebastian Ingrosso.
We had this
we were talking about this.
All right, we got to take a quick
We had this whole
here,
drunk conversation. Sidebar. Swedish House Mafia members. Martin Garrix.
No, not at all.
Or no, Sebastian Ingrosso, Axwell.
Yes.
And who's the third forgetful name?
Bro.
Alesso? No?
We went over this.
Do you remember?
So the story, of course I remember, because it's been drilled into my head now. The story being that there's a guy at one of the parties we were at that came up to me and was like, I know you know the 3 members of Swedish House Mafia, and then like pressured me into naming them, and I couldn't name them all. And then he listed them off in my face. He was like, Sebastian Ingrosso, Steve Angelo, and Axwell. And I was like, bro, leave me alone. But yeah,
Steve Angelo is the name that we always
Steve
forget.
Angelo,
Okay.
yeah. Come on, man. Swedish House Mafia. No, Martin Garrix, going back to it.
Martin Garrix, separate dude.
Yeah,
different
Martin
DJ.
Garrix, also Dutch.
Not Swedish.
That's, yeah, okay. Who are the Netherlands playing?
We play Martin Garrix's home nation, the Netherlands, on Saturday
Let's go.
at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I'm playing Animals.
Quick summary here. Kristen Pulisic has the largest, I've heard it pronounced 17 different ways to Tuesday during this World Cup coverage. I've heard Pulisic, I've heard Pulisic, I've heard Pulich. It's just wild. Nobody can pronounce this man's name. But regardless, this man has the largest sack of cojones of any player in the World Cup currently. His first international goal, his first goal in the World Cup. He had scored in previous international fixtures, but his first World Cup goal hoists the U.S. over Iran 1-0, and in the process, Christian Pulisic takes a direct nut shot to the point where my man ends up in the hospital.
Is that for real?
With he was in the hospital, and he was diagnosed with pelvic contusions.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Pelvic contusions.
Yeah. So
oh god.
not a whole lot of fun there.
Oof.
But you know, you got to lay it out for country. You got to lay it out
to play still?
The squad, for the boys. He is safe to play. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we get to some segments. But my man's got a big old sack. He threw his big old sack on the table and said, "Here, take this." Bounced around and moved on to the round of 16.
Yeah.
Other World Cup tidbits.
Yeah.
The Qatari fix was clearly not in. They are the first host nation to be knocked out of the World Cup without obtaining a point.
Qatar sucks. I'm
for anybody that's wondering what we're talking about, very anti-Qatar. They use the kafal system to build all of their stadiums and basically build a $200 billion city in 10 years-ish time to host these World Cups. And basically that is the 21st century's equation equivalent of slavery.
Wow.
So heavily disavow Qatar as a country. There
Qatar.
were reports that Qatar had bribed, I believe, who were they playing? I think it was Ecuador, was it? In the opening round?
It may have been, yeah. I believe it was Ecuador, yeah.
It might have been. So, I think it was.
I believe.
There were reports that Qatari officials had bribed numerous Ecuador players totaling a sum of $22 million to throw the first match, and that clearly did not happen. They lost 2-0. So Qatar got bounced. Saudi Arabia did best. Argentina. Germany went down and lost to Japan. Some big upsets, but ultimately most of the big hitters are advancing to the round of 16. Netherlands, US, England, just to name a few. So, in a roundabout way of bringing this to a nice little bow on top of our World Cup conversation, does the US have a chance?
So,
coming from somebody that knows nothing about
Yeah.
soccer and international teams and the World Cup in general.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or what do you think I think?
No, I'm waiting for you.
Okay,
I'm waiting
so
for you.
U.S. Netherlands specifically, I think we do have a chance, but Holland is damn good, and we have actually underperformed, in my opinion, on the game. So I actually haven't been watching too much of the World Cup. I've been following the scores and stuff like that, but sitting down for 90 minutes watching the game, not really my thing with soccer. But regardless, if we get our shit together, if Pulisic, whatever, keeps it together and his pelvis is intact, then we may be able to squeak out, dare I say a win, but I would say squeak out a tie with the Netherlands, whether that be 1-1, 0-0, something like that. So my call is a tie with the Netherlands. Is it a single elimination after this, or what?
So this is single elimination now. So
okay,
we're
so no matter
what,
play, yeah, okay, cool.
And we're into a bracket, so it would go to, you would have, I believe it's 30 minutes of extra time, a 15-minute half and a 15-minute half, and then if there's still no difference at the end of that, then you go to a shootout.
See, all right, I'm looking at the brackets here. I'm just trying to see where we would go next. So we would face Argentina, Australia would be our, so we're kind of fucked at that point, I feel like. So what do you mean, do we have a chance? Do we have a chance against the Netherlands? I think maybe.
Do we have a chance to beat the Netherlands?
Do ties count? So at this point, we would just go to extra time and then penalty kicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have a very good
time,
chance.
And then, so there's a little bit of a catch here with extra time.
Yeah.
Because the World Cup doesn't use a golden goal type of overtime.
So you just
it's not like
play
the
until the
NHL
end
playoffs where, you still play a full 30-minute extra time, so 2 15-minute halves, even if, say, the U.S. scores in the third minute of added time of the first half, you still have to play the other 27 minutes, and you still have to maintain that lead. So
yeah,
I think there's a chance.
I'm not too confident. I think there's a chance too. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, but I'm not too confident.
So I would say I'm basing my expectations off of how the U.S. looked in the first half against Iran, and how the U.S. looked in the game against England. In the first half against Wales. They folded in the second half against Wales, but the first half against Wales, they looked phenomenal.
Word.
And they did the same thing against Iran, but the second half, we lose Pulisic, and there was not Gareth Southgate. He's the manager for England, but we did have another key midfielder that also went out, forward that also went out injured. He's expected to play on Saturday. So if we can get a full 90 minutes like we got against England, and we can take the energy that we had in the first half against Wales and against Iran, if we get that energy in that USA team, we have a chance, because we took the draw against England, and if you take that draw, you go into extra time, everybody's dog shit tired, and anything can happen in extra time. It's like anything can happen in overtime of the Stanley Cup Finals. You just you play hard and you hope for the best, and if it comes down to it, I think we've got a pretty good squad for PKs. I think we got a long, lengthy goalie who's, relatively speaking, pretty agile, pretty quick, good reactions.
Okay.
He did get a hand or a finger or two on the PK that Gareth Bale had to draw against Wales.
Single finger.
I think we got a chance.
Hey, man, that's all I could look forward to. And then it's just one game at a time from there, honestly. I'm glad we made it this far. I feel like the U.S. gets a lot of hate for the men's team, and I'm just glad that we're, finally starting to do something that feels a little bit worth it. You know what I mean? It's great.
Exactly.